Today's video is brought to you by Very Good. Check out upcoming workshops at shopverygood.com. You know what a photo like this scene here, or a scene like this, or maybe a photo like this, and photos like this. Do you know what all of these photos have in common? They are all photos of nothing. The challenge is, it is especially easy and quite tempting to photograph nothing. I want you to picture with me for a moment a ladder, and every step on the ladder represents growth for a photographer. So when you're at the bottom, you just want to go up. You want to get higher up on the ladder. So you got that ladder pictured in your head. In today's video, what I'm going to do is talk about where we're standing on the ladder, what each level looks like. And we're talking about that in terms of subject, because a photographer that is looking for subjects, say maybe standing right in front of the ladder, is going to be looking for different types of subjects that a photographer that's 3 levels up is going to look for. And one of the easiest ways that we can identify our own growth and begin to take some steps is to identify the type of subjects that exist at the different levels of our photos. And as we begin our climb, the very first step on the ladder is light. Light is one of those things that can really make or break a scene. And that's why light is often the first thing that photographers get into when they start becoming serious about their photography. Because anybody can go out with a camera at any time of day and capture something like we are doing out in Mount Tam today, but to be there when the light is good completely changes the entire experience. This is going to be, once again, a photo of nothing. But if I want to take a step on the ladder and go up a level on it, I'm going to be photographing light. Like, nothing has changed about the landscape, but the light will elevate the photo. However, the light takes some effort because I have to come out here during golden hour, either sunrise or, in the case of this photo, sunset. And then it was elevated a little more because there were some people out here. But even if we got rid of the people, the golden hour photo is still better than the photo that I'm doing right now of just the landscape. It's a photo of nothing until you add the light, and now it becomes something. It becomes a level 1 photograph. It's the first step on the ladder. A couple of years ago, I was at Glacier National Park, and I went to a spot that I love to go to every time I'm there. But I was actually there in the middle of the day for the first time ever, because normally I go there for golden hour. This spot in the middle of the day, like, it doesn't change between golden hour, blue hour, and the middle of the day. The mountains are there, the lake is there, the whole scene is static, it is there. But when you look at the photo from the middle of the day, it has one type of look. And then if you just objectively look at it during golden hour, it looks way better. It's better with the good light. And that's what I'm talking about. That's this first step on the ladder. Good light is easy to photograph. As another example, I have this photo of Alabama Hills. This is during blue hour. And then a few minutes later, when the light hit, it turns into this. Now, I posted these photos back to back on Instagram a couple of years ago, and I asked which one do you like better, and overwhelmingly people like the one with the light. So you can see that light is a very compelling subject, and that's why so many photographers take that first step from taking photos of nothing to now photographing light. But it's really easy to stop there and just be that banger chaser who's just chasing good light wherever they go. There's more to photography than just that. So as we move up the ladder, we've gone from not being on the ladder at all and photographing nothing to photographing light on level 1. If we take a step up to level 2, I think this is where we start photographing moments. And we're gonna say the next 2 levels are both called moments, but this first one are moments that are special. And we're gonna define special as something that is like scroll stopping, something that is unique, something that is special. I think you get what I'm saying here. It's a moment. So as we think about a level 2, which, is a moment, it's a pretty moment, it's something special, more than just good light, but also like a good moment. I was up at that cluster of trees about 6 months ago or so, and I was shooting golden hour, shooting sunrise, but I was also shooting the marine layer rolling in, which made that moment special. It was more than just, being out here at a pretty golden hour, but it was being out here during a special moment where something special was happening. And that elevates it from a photo of nothing to a photo of light to a photo of a moment. Now, moments can come about two ways. One, they can just happen and you actually get to capture it, or you build the moment yourself. A lot of portrait photographers do that. A couple of years ago, I was doing a portrait session up in Oregon, right below Mount Hood. The portraits were in a lake, so it was really cold. You can't tell that from the photos, but we were creating a special moment between the light, the location, and the shoot that we were doing. It was meant to be a special moment. But then it got even more elevated because some ducks swam into that moment and elevated the moment. So that was a good mix of creating the moment and also capturing a special part of that moment. But moments don't have to be just manufactured. Sometimes they happen out in nature or just out when you're out and about doing things and you just happen to see a special moment. A couple of years ago, I was out in Yellowstone and Sony had loaned me their 400 2.8. And if I lived 1 mile closer to Yellowstone, and I live in the Bay Area, so 1 mile wouldn't seem like it would make a difference, but if I lived 1 mile closer, I would probably buy that lens. But I was running around the park with that lens and I saw a bison walking with a bird on his back. To me, that was a moment. So I got this photo and it represents a moment that is cool. It's a cool moment. You see this a lot in street photography too, because people will go out in a city and go on a photo walk and they'll see something that's kind of a special, cool moment. Recently, I was in San Francisco. I was walking around North Beach and I saw the local postman just sitting there at the park reading his book during his lunch break. I don't know. I just thought that was a cool moment. He's in his uniform. He's got that old school bag he's hauling around as he's going door to door, but he's reading a book. He's not on his phone. He's not on a tablet. He's not watching something. He's not listening to music, just sitting on the park reading his book. And I just thought that was a cool moment, so I photographed it. Moments are harder to photograph than good light because you have to be observant and look for them. And moments don't depend on good light. That photo of the postman was in the middle of the day. So was the bison photo, middle of the day. So I think if you're trying to elevate your photography, just start looking for those special moments. Now, I said moments had two parts. One we're calling special moments. Those are pretty things that you see or create. The other, I would say, is actually a little more complicated than that, and that is an interesting moment. Now, we define special, now we will find interesting. I think interesting moments are things that make you raise an eyebrow. It's something that has more questions than answers. It's just something that's what is happening? I personally love photography like that. I feel if I'm a little confused by what I quickly see, that's a good thing. So sometimes composition does that, other times subject does that. I'm gonna give a quick shout out to my friend Mike Chudley real quick. I've got all three of his zines right here, Across the Pond too, and his most recent one, Nothing Urgent, Just Time, that he made while he was with me out in the California desert. Mike is really good at this level of photography, looking for things that are interesting. A good example of this is this photo right here. Not really sure what is happening here. A dude is eating an ice cream cone, but he has a box over his head. So that to me took several skills, and kudos to Mike for having them. You've got to be observant to what's happening around you and scanning constantly, looking for that interesting thing. And then you've got to have the technical skills to get the shot quickly, because as quick as you see something interesting, it could change and be gone. In my own photography, which is very documentary driven, I'm always looking for interesting things. To me, things that are interesting have stories that we will never hear. They have history that we're never gonna know. I like to think that a lot of the work that I do is kind of time period based, but happening today, only it's what was left. So I find those things very interesting, and what it takes to get those shots is often way more than it takes to go out at golden hour and pop off a banger. So whether you're photographing things that are interesting by being observant, or photographing things that are interesting due to a lot of planning and hustle to get to those places, the work that is required is definitely a step up than just stumbling upon something pretty or being at the right place with the right light. All right, if you've been digging the kind of thing that we've been covering today, I've got 2 workshops coming up this fall that'll help you take a step on the ladder. The first one is in Grand Teton National Park in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, one of the most beautiful places in the world. That workshop is focused on storytelling, and a lot of people go there and they get those first step photos, beautiful light on the mountains. It's super easy there. But if you go there with me this fall, we are going to be talking about storytelling in photography and shooting the area more like we're shooting a documentary. I'm going to take you to some great places and teach you how to look for things that support all those beautiful photos you'll get there. This fall, we'll also be going to Zion National Park in Springdale, Utah. Now, that workshop isn't going to be as focused on storytelling. It'll be more focused on building great compositions out in the field. We'll be going to a lot of beautiful spots, but we'll also be exploring when to press the shutter. So whether you join me in Jackson, whether you join me in Zion, all of the information is below at shotverygood.com. And I also have a QR code right on the screen that'll take you to the workshop landing page where you can begin to take more steps up the ladder. So let's take our final step up the ladder to what I think is the most challenging of all subjects. And if I look at my own portfolio, and I bet if you look at yours too, you will have the least amount of what I'm about to describe. I think it's safe to say it's going to be true for both of us here. Totally fine, something to work towards. And that step is photos that are making a statement. Like they have a message in them that immediately elicit a feeling. I think some of the most iconic photos we have ever seen, the ones that are like stamped in history, are photos that did this. They're photos that made a statement. They captured something that made us feel something very deeply. Or maybe take it in this direction, like photos like this typically have cost the photographer something. And I don't mean like buying a camera. I mean like there has been sacrifice to get this shot, or risk to get this shot, or pain to get this shot. I remember watching that movie a few years ago on the life of Lee Miller, and like, you know, they're recreating the moments that she captured like in the Holocaust. Like that cost something to the photographer. And even outside of war photography, you know, people put themselves in risky positions sometimes to get a message out. Street photography and documentary photography can do this as well. Portrait sessions can do this. There's really no one genre that has this on lock, even though you might see this kind of stuff more in like war photography or things like that. A message is like the most aspirational part of the ladder we can step towards. Well, it's hard, it's difficult, it's challenging to try to find like a statement out here on Mount Tam in the middle of the day. So unfortunately, I have nothing like that for you. But all of that said, I think you understand the point I'm making today in this video, that wherever we are, we just want to take a step up. So if you're out there and you're photographing nothing, get out there in good light and take a step up. If you are photographing in good light, start looking for a moment. And the moment doesn't just have to be in good light. Moments can really exist at any time of day as long as your eye is tuned to looking for those moments. And if you're really great at capturing moments, take a step up into looking for a statement. Something that has meaning, because the greater the statement or the greater the moment or the greater the light, the more the photo lends itself to feeling something rather than just being, you know, a memory for us from our camera. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with those memories. But if you are anything like me, you may want to have some photos that let people feel something as well. Even if it's just feeling what you are feeling, a sense of awe and wonder from where you are. So those are my thoughts for you today. I hope you found this video inspiring and challenging and helpful. And if you did, be sure to give it a like. And if you are not a subscriber, make sure you get subscribed. Don't forget to check out the upcoming workshops if this kind of stuff resonates with you. Got a link below, got a QR code right here. I love and appreciate all of you so much. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.